Hello everybody, my name is Austin, aka BitPanzer's on the interwebs, and I'm here to count down my top 5 games of 2014. But before we get started, I'd like to give some honorable mentions to some games that I'm currently playing but have not finished. If I had finished them, they probably would have been on this list. The first of which being Far Cry 4, which I'm about halfway through right now. It's essentially a Far Cry expansion to Far Cry 3, as all the mechanics are exactly the same as Far Cry 3, just a new story and a new coat of paint added on, but I'm totally fine with that, because I really love Far Cry 3, and it's been a while since I've played it. The second honorable mention will go to Dragon Age Inquisition, which I only recently started, and I'm barely touching the surface on it. So far, the character development is as expected from a BioWare game, meaning it's fantastic, and the new and improved combat system is better than ever. I can't wait to delve even deeper into the story and recruit new companions. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on with the countdown. Number 5 on my list is The Evil Within, from Tango Gameworks and Bethesda. With this being Shinji Mikami's return to the horror genre, a lot was expected from The Evil Within, and it met most of my expectations of what I wanted the game to be. There are some very tense sequences in the game where I simply did not want to play anymore because I was afraid of what was going to happen next, which is really what a horror game should do to you while you're playing it. Along with that, you throw in some truly disgusting enemy designs and locations, and you have a pretty nice horror package. Although the reason it's only at number 5 is due to some very shallow character development and some pretty obvious plot holes that are promised to be resolved in future DLC. Coming in at number 4 is Hatoful Boyfriend. Alright, now stay with me on this one. Many of you are probably wondering, why is a dating sim on here? Well, let me tell you. So you take a standard dating simulator, you add breeds of bird as the possible love interests instead of humans, you add in fantastic writing and character development, and an overarching true ending that will surpass most new age suspense movie plots, and you have Hatoful Boyfriend. This is such an odd anomaly in the game world in the best possible way. The storytelling is done in such an entertaining way that I never once got bored while going through the multiple branching paths and endings for the different characters. Oh, and also lore. This game has an amazing backstory that would fit in with any Stephen King novel. Coming in at number 3 is Watch Dogs. So what happens when you take pieces of every Ubisoft game ever made and create a Frankenstein of a game by piecing them all together? Well, you get Watch Dogs, essentially. When you take the shooting and cover mechanics from games like Splinter Cell and Far Cry, and then you plop the player into an open world as big as an Assassin's Creed game, complete with side activities to keep you occupied far surpassing the 40-hour mark, you get a pretty good package for the price you're paying. The mechanics of Watch Dogs are all sound and the game controls very, very well, with the exception of the hacking minigames.
Please, no hacking.
Anyway, the main character Aiden can seem like a cardboard box sometimes with his lack of emotion, but the voice acting really saved it for me, and I ended up having a pretty fun time messing around in Watch Dogs. Coming in at number 2 is Metro Redux. So I've never read the Metro novels before by Dmitry Glukhovsky, but after playing Metro 23 and Last Light and Metro Redux, I sure want to. Metro Redux has both Metro games with upgraded graphics on the PS3 and the Xbox One, and it looks magnificent. I was never able to play the games back when they were originally released on the 360 and PS3, so I was very excited to be able to play through both of them back to back on my PS4. Both games have that next-gen look to them, which is very impressive considering that 2033 is already 5 years old and was originally released on the 360. The controls are very tight, and the post-apocalyptic story is depressing in the best of ways, as weird as that sounds. It helps you connect with the common goal in the games, and actually causes you to care about the characters. The sound design is also incredible. Major props to the sound team on this one. Every gun has a very meaty sound, and it's scarily realistic, as well as the creature roars and screams when you're getting attacked. Both 2033 and Last Light are fantastic games by themselves, but when you get them both upgraded in a single package for the price of one regularly priced game, you can't go wrong there. And finally, coming in at number 1 is The Wolf Among Us. So I've never played a Telltale game that I haven't liked before, and The Wolf Among Us is no exception. Based on the comic series Fables by Bill Willingham, the game takes place in a really gritty New York City setting where all the fairy tale creatures live in a small section of the city called Fabletown. All of the characters are extremely likable, especially the character you play, who is Big B Wolf. So all these murders start happening around the town, and you have to get to the bottom and apprehend the culprit who's doing it. The graphics look like they were ripped straight from the comic, just like with Telltale's Walking Dead series, and it's by far one of my favorite aspects of the game. The voice acting is also top-notch, as with most Telltale games. It's also a pretty lengthy tale, no pun intended, spanning over 5 episodes. Each episode leaves off with a cliffhanger at the end, and the narrative and dialogue are very, very well written, and are definitely the main draw of the game, in addition to the killer art style. And nowadays it can be picked up pretty cheap for what you're getting. I highly recommend this game, you guys. And that, my friends, were my top 5 games of 2014. I do wish that I'd gotten to play some more games and finish some more games than I did this year, so my list would be a little bit different, but that's how life goes sometimes. And if you like what you saw here, be sure to subscribe for future game-related content, and be sure to check out my personal channel, BitPanzer, for other game and anime-related content. Thanks, guys and gals, and here's to a fun-filled and game-packed 2015. I'll see you guys there.